Sports supporters. Well, if you at any point tonight believe the Indiana Fever were going to win this game, then that's good on you. That's good on you. At no point tonight did I even begin to think the Indiana Fever were going to win this game.
That man watched the game without feeling any suspense at all. New York defeated Indiana 83-75 on Saturday night, and he says he never believed Indiana's comeback was real for even a moment. But according to him, the final score is not the most important story. He spends the next few minutes criticizing the referees, the coaching staff, Caitlin Clark's playing time, and even a TV ratings number that he claims was completely made up. First, let's look at how the Liberty managed to win the game.
Number one, the Liberty was like 2 of 17 or 2 of 18 from three-point range in this game. If they could hit any threes, the Fever would have lost by 25. They would have lost this game by 25.
He is right about the shooting, and the stats prove it. New York struggled from three-point range all game, but it did not matter because they kept getting to the free throw line. The Liberty made 33 of their 40 free throws, while Breanna Stewart alone hit 18 of 21. They did not beat Indiana by shooting better from the field. They won by being more physical, attacking the basket, and drawing fouls almost every time they drove into the paint. Even with their outside shots not falling, New York still found a way to control the game and secure the win.
I was in the Ben Daniel live stream. Ben came right out and said it. They came out at halftime. Liberty started pressing the Fever. Stephanie White made no adjustments, and it was on from there. It was on from there.
Now let's talk about the coaching. Indiana had a double-digit lead in the second half and was ahead 66-62 midway through the fourth quarter. They were in a strong position on the road against the defending champions. But then New York went on a huge 19-4 run that completely changed the game. Breanna Stewart made 11 of her 12 free throws during that stretch alone. The criticism is that when the Liberty increased the pressure, Stephanie White and the Fever did not have an answer. Whether you blame the coaching staff or the players, turning a 4-point lead in the fourth quarter into an 8-point loss is the kind of collapse that puts a coach under heavy scrutiny.
I will say this again. If we have not come to grips with the fact that this league is not going to call fouls in favor of the Fever, if the Fever as an organization hadn't figured that out, and understand you're going to have to overcome that. You can't use that as a crutch. You know, we found out you're not going to get the calls in this league as an organization. It's not going to happen. And they're going to give the calls to the Aces, to the Liberty. Why? Because they got rings. That's what happens.
This is the debate that always gets Fever fans talking, so let's look at it honestly. The free throw difference was real and significant. Some people believe the league favors its champions and that Breanna Stewart and the Liberty get more calls because of their status. A more reasonable explanation is that Stewart is one of the best players in basketball at attacking the basket and drawing contact. She constantly puts pressure on defenders, and teams that are behind late in games often foul intentionally to stop the clock, which can quickly increase free throw numbers. Still, both things can be true at the same time. The gap was large enough that Fever fans have every right to question it, even if the real explanation ends up being simple basketball rather than any kind of conspiracy.
I had Caitlin Clark, actually, at one point. I said, ooh, in the chat, we're on triple-double watch. Literally 10 seconds later, boom, called for a foul. I said, never mind, we're off triple-double watch. Pulled her out of the game.
And then there is Caitlin Clark, which is really what this whole discussion revolves around. He believed she had a chance at a triple-double, but after a foul call sent her to the bench, that opportunity disappeared. The main complaint is about how her minutes are being managed. He argues that she is being taken out too early and handled too cautiously, often pointing to comments from Fever reporter Scott Agnes. The simple explanation is that Clark has dealt with injuries, including a quad strain and a groin issue, and the team wants to protect its biggest star. If a game starts getting out of reach in the fourth quarter, coaches often choose to rest their franchise player instead of risking an injury in the final minutes. Still, for fans who buy tickets and tune in mainly to watch Caitlin Clark, seeing her sit on the bench for the last few minutes can feel disappointing. That frustration is what drives discussions and videos like this one.
Caitlin Clark subbed out at the 5-minute mark. It was more like the 4-minute mark. Right there, getting subbed out. I posted, 4 minutes and ride the pine. It's where we're at.
Take a look at Caitlin Clark's stat line because it tells a more complete story. She finished with 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists, but she shot just 4 for 14 from the field and 2 for 6 from three-point range. While her shooting struggled, she still contributed in other ways by creating opportunities for teammates and helping on the boards. He also makes a basketball point that is worth considering, separate from any complaints about officiating or coaching. He believes Clark should attack the basket more often and use her mid-range game instead of relying so heavily on three-point shots. That is not a controversial opinion, it is a natural step in the growth of many great guards. Her deep shooting made her a star, but floaters, runners, and pull-up jumpers are what make players effective when their outside shot is not working. On Saturday, her three-point shot was off, and the game showed exactly why having more ways to score can make a player even more dangerous.
Coach Anderson, we have officially become the Connecticut Sun, where we try to drag teams down and muck up the game. It's ugly. Enjoy losing fans. Most of the new fans did not come to watch this garbage. That is a factual damn statement. That is a factual statement.
This may be the strongest point he makes all night, and it comes with an irony he never fully explains. He argues that the Fever have started to look like the Connecticut Sun, a team known for physical defense, low-scoring games, and grinding opponents down rather than overwhelming them with offense. What he does not mention is that Stephanie White was the head coach of that same Connecticut team. She built her reputation on tough defense and a slower, more controlled style of play. So when he says Indiana now looks like the Sun, he is actually describing the exact identity the organization hired White to bring. After moving on from Christie sides in 2024, the Fever wanted a stronger defensive foundation. The challenge is that many fans were drawn to the team because of the exciting, fast-paced, high-scoring style associated with Caitlin Clark. When those exciting offensive games turn into slow, physical battles, some fans feel like the product they are watching is very different from the one that first captured their attention.
By the way, Atlanta Dream, Indiana Fever, television rating 10 million, fake news. Bullshit. I mean, come on. Really? No. Number one, the rating hadn't been released yet. Number two, when it is released, no. It was on Amazon Prime. I will be shocked if that game got 1.5 million viewers.
Now let's talk about the ratings number, because this is where his argument is strongest. Someone claimed that the Indiana Fever vs. Atlanta Dream game on Amazon Prime attracted 10 million viewers, and he correctly argues that the number makes no sense. Prime's exclusive WNBA broadcasts usually average a few 100,000 viewers, often around 500,000 to 600,000, and have not come close to reaching 1 million. The Fever games that set major viewership records are typically shown on national television networks like ABC or CBS, and even those usually draw around 2 to 3 million viewers. A regular season WNBA game on a streaming platform reaching 10 million viewers would be an extraordinary event, surpassing many of the biggest broadcasts in sports. He also points out a simple fact: the official ratings had not even been released yet, so nobody could know the final audience number. More broadly, the WNBA's popularity has grown rapidly over the past 2 years, but that growth has also brought misleading statistics and exaggerated claims from people trying to push different narratives online. The reality is that the league has set legitimate viewership records without needing inflated numbers. Looking at the game itself, the story is fairly straightforward. Indiana built a double-digit lead against the defending champions but could not hold on. New York got to the free throw line repeatedly, Indiana's offense cooled off, and the Fever struggled to respond when the Liberty increased the pressure late in the game. That naturally raises questions about coaching, roster depth, and officiating. He touches on all three. One interesting twist is his growing nostalgia for former coach Christie Sides. Many fans wanted Sides gone not long ago, and the organization responded by hiring Stephanie White, a highly respected coach known for building strong defensive teams. Now some of those same fans miss the more open and offensive style they associate with the previous version of the team. That may say more about fan expectations than coaching itself. Most fans ultimately want an exciting offense, a superstar playing freely, and plenty of points on the scoreboard. As for the officiating, one game with a large free throw difference is not enough to prove anything by itself. Physical teams that attack the basket often earn more foul calls, and teams trailing late tend to foul intentionally. If the same pattern continues over many games, then it becomes a more meaningful discussion. Right now, it is only one piece of evidence, not a complete story. The same applies to Caitlin Clark. She struggled with her shot but still contributed with rebounds and assists. The biggest basketball lesson from the game is that expanding her scoring options, driving more, attacking the rim, and using the mid-range game can make her even more effective when the three-point shot is not falling. Most importantly, the situation is not nearly as dramatic as some people make it sound. The Fever are 5-5 and only 10 games into a long 44-game season. A .500 record against a difficult schedule is not a disaster. It is simply an uneven start for a team adjusting to a new coach, a new system, and enormous expectations. The real tension is that Indiana is trying to build a defense-first identity at the exact moment it has become the most watched and heavily analyzed team in the league. Fans who came for fast breaks, deep threes, and highlight plays will naturally become frustrated during slow, defensive battles. That conflict is likely to remain part of every discussion surrounding this team for the rest of the season.